Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Today, right now, there's nothing on the news. Monday, August 16th. No red folders at all that I see. So this should be Monday and Tuesday. Looks like it's going to be fairly quiet until 8:30 Tuesday morning. I have a couple of red folders there. So today we should be pretty okay. And let's see. So then we go to, let's see if this is my splash screen. Yep, there it is. And we'll see what's hot and what's not. So right now we're looking at, slow this thing down here a little bit. Let's see, we have Swiss and British are strong on the upper two, and British is strong, dollar is strong on the bottom, on the 15 and the 5. And the Euro Aussie and in the bottom. Let's take a look at the British Aussie and the British Euro pair and see what that looks like. So we're going to come over here to the, let's see where we at here. I'll pin this one so I don't get this one out of the way. Pin this one, get that out of the way. I'm done with that one. And let's go to the British Aussie. Where did it go? Let's try. Trying to find where I can find it here. I apologize for the slow start this morning.
Al's sitting beside the ocean right now.
Yeah, I'm actually on vacation trying to get my laptop up and running here, and it's not behaving quite like I was expecting it to.
Poor Al, he's suffering by the water.
Well, yesterday the wind came in and took away our gazebo, so we had to.
Oh, did it?
Oh my
So that was the end. That was the end of our day yesterday. Oh, that was a nice day up until that point. Oh, let's see. Forex. Come on down. Here we go. I'm looking for British Aussie. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now I got it. And I can close that down. And let's see. Okay. We're looking at the British pound Aussie pairs. I'm going to start with the 15-minute chart. And make sure I get on the 15-minute. There's 15-minute. And I'm trying to find out where my zones are. I'll put the labels on. If I can find the labels. And appearance, session breaks, went session breaks, and we also want to scale indicator labels. That way you guys can see the labels on that. Okay. And so here's our green zone. Here's our blue zone down here. Let's see, red, green, blue. Blue was right in there at 1888.99. Come over here, and we're going to draw our. I tried to fix this up and make this go a little bit faster, but I don't know if that's Hawkeye 515 green, blue. Here we go. Here's our green, blue zones for the. If you see the solid lines are going to be the 15-minute zones, the dashed dotted lines are going to be the 5-minute zones. Over here to our 5-minute chart. Put the fibs on. Big. See where our 5-minute fibs are. Here's our blue zone. There's our green zone. And we have the 5-minute charts in between. So we're going to pull this with a red to a green. I worked a little bit last week in trying to get this green, blue, red.
Sunita's asking, can you show how you did the session breaks and the high-low again?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Let me just get this one set, and then I'll show you how you do that. Here's my green zone. There's my blue, which is the blue is going to overlay with the green 15. Here's my red, and then there's my blue, which is going to overlay. That's it in between. Here's my blue zone. Actually, that's not quite right. Or is that right? So let me take this one off and do this one the old-fashioned way. Over here. Here's my 5-minute. Five-minute red, and then there's a 5-minute green right down below. Okay, so here are my zones. And to get the session breaks, just right click on your chart and then scroll down to where it says settings. And then in the settings under the, I think it's under appearance, you'll see there's a little tab that says session break. Just click on that and then that'll give you your, and I make mine blue with the little dash lines. Did that answer the question? Is that good? I'll do that again, just right click on the chart, scroll down to where you see where it says settings. Then under the chart settings, under appearance, there's one for session break. And the other one I had, which was for the scaling on the right-hand side, which gets these labels on the right. That way I have my Fibonacci label so I know which ones I'm looking for. That is on the scale with indicator name labels. And that'll also bring up the labels down here on the our Hercules tool. Anyway, back to the job at hand here. We see that looking at all three charts, we got, right now we have our, look at our 5-minute chart. And we're looking to see if we have the strength is right now on the British pound. British pound's the first currency of the pair. We did get the 5-minute close above. We got the 5-minute close, coming back, it retest, didn't quite grab the line, but we can put, at this point, with we have a 7-0 spread here. Got the 5-minute close above the 5-minute fib line. So at this point, we can actually go and put a buy order in. And with this one, I would actually probably almost go with it's 89.15 to 89.12. We have about 3 pip spread here. So that's pretty much the distance between the line and where the price is right now is pretty much your spread. I'm going to put a limit order in for 89.12. And I'm going to use a 15 pip stop. This is a 7 pip target. And do 2% on my account. Let me show you how you can do this on the TradingView platform here. And that automatically calculates your lot size. I have a limit order in for that price. I'm going to set my order. And if the price comes back down to the line to my order, now it's probably going to have to, in order to get this filled, you'll probably have to come all the way down to 3 pips, 2.6 pips below that in order to get it filled. Or else to sell, somebody who has some wants to just sell it right down at that level. But right now, that's where the price is set. And we have our stop set and our target set up here to the take profit with 7 pips. That one's, so now we just wait. If I look at a 2-minute chart on this one, we have some 2-minute zones. And right now it's already pretty much 7 pips above. But again, half of that's because of the spread. So you have to be careful with some of these, especially some of these Aussie and New Zealand pairs. The spreads get to be a little bit heavy. And so don't be too big of a hurry to get in. Make it come to you. If it doesn't come to me and doesn't get me out of the trade, then well, that's just the way it is. But this would be my first target. This should be the 7 pips. These should be about 7 pips apart, I believe. They should be pretty close. There's 7 pips. There's 14 pips. So if it comes back to here, right now it actually came up and tagged the 7 pips. But again, a lot of that's because of the spread. I would still wait for this to come back on this particular pair with the spread being so far. I would wait for it to come back, get me in here. Here'd be target 1. This would be my target 1. If I can get this thing up here. Somewhere right around in here would be target 1. And then target 2 would be the 7 pips above it. Now, if it gets up to, we had a nice little move up, had the pullback. If it gets up to this red line, you can move your entry into the 61 or the 89.20 area, and then the red would be the target. So basically, it's going to look a little bit like. Let's see, where's my tool here? It'll look a little bit like this. Here's the beginning of the move, back, entry, down here. There'd be target 1, target 2, and if you want to, you go with target 3. That's pretty much what the move is going to look like. And again, each time if you get into the trade, you make sure you check this on the 5-minute chart and make sure you have at least a 3-point spread between the British pound, which is the purple line, and the Aussie, which is the green line. So that's what we're looking at. We have this trade set. We're just waiting for it to materialize. We can go look for, let's take a look at the British euro. That was the other one that I believe we were looking at. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to duplicate this. Oops, what happened there? My British euro, or maybe euro British. Euro British, put that on up. And so right now the British pound is still the stronger. Check our RCS tool in the 15-minute. And we're going to find our zones. Yep, we still have a 7-1 spread on that 115, so that we're looking to take this thing short because the British pound is the second currency of this pair, and it's got the strength. And I'm going to go and change this back to the zone so we can label them. Put labels on. And so now, right now we have the zones. Let's see, here's our red fib line, here's our green fib line. Let's remove all these so we can see what we have. Actually, my new template said red, green, green, blue, blue, red. Oh, I'm going to do some work on that. Let's go the old-fashioned way. Here's my red zone, my red 15. And here's my green 15. You see it's coming down into that. It's going to be retesting that here pretty soon. Come over to our 5-minute chart. Find out where the 5-minute zones are. And that determines our playground and our quadrants that we're using of that playground. Here's my 5-minute red zone. And 5-minute green. There's our playground. We are looking at, again, we're looking at the the euro was weak, the British pound was strong. The British pound is the second currency of the pair. And so we're looking for it to go short. Now here we did have the break of the 5-minute zone. But you also see how this thing was consolidating? It was consolidating from about, let's see, what time was this thing? That's right around 4 o'clock this morning. So pretty much all during the night last night until the London market opened, it was pretty much flat across until about 6 o'clock. It came down. This is where the first break was, right in here. Came back, see it, retested it, and now starting to make these zones. At this point, you're only having between this zone and this zone, that should be 21 pips, I believe. No, that's about your 21 pips. I can tweak this up here a little bit. But this would have been the first entry right here, right? When you got the 5-minute close, came back up, retested the line. Here's the bottom, came back up, retested it. And then here was we're going to have 2 more thirds here with our 2-minute charts. I'll go to my 2-minute, we'll make sure those are right. There's the target, there's been target 1, which has been right over here. That one made target 1. Here's where target 2 would have been. So we're kind of a little bit late to the party on this one. Came back, retested it. You can take another entry in there. You could re-enter it here, and then you would go on to the next. From here, that this be a target, or you could just go wait till it goes down to the green line. Each one of these pullbacks, you're able to, once it hits the green line, you can take it on the red line behind it. Once it broke here, that your first target would have been way up in this area. And so you could have actually been in this thing out 1, 2, 3. You could have been in and out about 4 times already just in the last couple of hours. I would hold off on this right now because right now it's coming in. We did get this nice little pullback here. I said we could possibly take it here if we wanted to. We still have a good spread, although on the 1 minute it's got a little bit of it's still challenging the spread there, so that's still good. You want to see on the RCS, you want to see at least a 3-point spread on the 5-minute on the pullback, which we still do. Actually, we could probably, let's see, where's my 2-minute zones here? Here's my green. There's my 2-minute green right there. So it made the targets come in on the pullback, and then the next zone is going to be the 15-minute, which is going to be right down here. This should be 7 pips, I do believe. Everybody still hears me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're
Okay,
fine.
I'm just a little paranoid about losing everybody on this laptop here.
Oh, we'd type it in chat if we couldn't hear you, or on Telegram.
Okay, well, that doesn't mean I would notice it there either, but
Well, it's the best we can do.
which is not much you can
Besides,
do.
send up smoke signals.
Not much. Yeah, you have to set up smoke signals or send a courier. Let's see. So let's see. Do we want to take this one or not? This is a question. It came down. It hit our 2 minute mark. Let's see where the other 2 minute mark is here. It's up here. I'd like to see it come on up to. Make sure I got this right here. Put this appearance. There's session break scale. Put my indicator labels on so I can make sure I got the right labels. You have to be careful with these labels because the red S line is the same as the red. Looks like almost the same as the fib line. Here's my 2 minute fib in the red one. And it didn't quite get all the way back up there. So I'd like to see it go from the green one, get up. I want to see it come all the way up here to where the 5 is. And that would be my entry. Take it short. So we can actually set that trade if we want. We can do that. And so we could come over here to sell. And again, we're going to take profit at 7 pips. And stop loss at 15. I know that may seem backwards to some of you, but when you're only scalping and taking really short positions, if you have your stop too close, they're just going to go and grab it on you. So rarely do I take a full 15 pip stop out. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, if I'm able to watch it, I'm able to I'll reverse positions or get out of that position long before it hits my stop. But it keeps you out of harm's way so they can't just go and grab your orders on you. And let's see, that was 1.5. Let's see how far to come back here. It came back from about this level to, see, that's at 84.90, 84.93. That's a 3-point spread. Wanted to see it come back a little bit more than that. Again, make it come to you. So I'm going to say I'll give a little bit of a leeway with the fact that it does have such pretty good downward strength. I'm going to put it at 84.91 for my sell limit. That way the spread won't keep me from getting into that trade. And I'll sell a limit on it. Sell limits. Why is it all the way down there? Up by that. Let's see what's the price. That's 80.91, 93, 81.92. That's better. That's a little better. And again, wait for it to come back to you. Let's see. How's our British Aussie? Do we get into that one at all? Not yet. Check our 1 minute chart and see how that's looking here. We had the close above. And we're waiting for it to come back and get us into the trade. Still waiting on that one. Did make it a higher level. Okay, we did get the close above the red line, coming back to green line. You have a choice. You can actually take it here if you wanted to. We still have the spread. No, we don't have the spread anymore. We only have a 2-point spread on this pullback right now. A 6 and a 4. That's on a 1 minute chart. Let's take our 5 minute chart. That's what we need to know. Yep, still good on the 5 minute chart. So with the 5 minute chart, we can actually adjust this if we want. We take profit on up here to this target. Modify that. And we're going to modify that one. We're at the red line. We could actually probably just do a market order if we wanted to. But let's see if it comes into us. It gets us into this trade. Get the
When
order
you have
right.
a moment,
What's
sorry, when you have a moment, can you have a look at the British US? Danielle is asking
Okay.
when you're done with your Australian, I guess.
Here, let me see where we're at. So right now, what we have here with this Aussie. We have to close above the green. It closed above the. So basically, that's our first target there. And coming back, we're trying to get into it right now, into this one, and looking for this target up here for the target 2. And if you really want to hang on to it, you can maybe go for target 5. We still have the pullback. The British pound is still strong. And actually, with this one, we could probably just do a market order with this if we want to. I think I will. 7 pip profit, 15 pip stop, 2% market order as it's coming in. Still have the spread, and I'm going to go ahead and enter the trade. And my target now is going to be up here at this, where the second target area, right there by the 4. And now we want to look at which one, the British US.
Yes.
British US.
1 minute.
115, okay.
Yeah, she got into it. She sold, and she just wanted to see. I have more details when you need them.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at this one. British US. Close that up. Let's see where we're at here. British USD. $15-minute chart. And let's see what we got. Let's see, 15. Here's our blue line down here. Green, red, and then it should have a green line up there. That's still the same one I drew the other day. And I'm going to say that you are long in it. Is that correct?
No, she's short. She's short. Yeah.
Where'd you get in? Where'd you get in short?
She sold at 1.38497.
Oops. 1.384.
Yeah. Almost at 50. 138.50.
Hmm. 1.384. I get the settings on this thing. There we go. 1.38497, you say?
Yes.
497. Oops. 1.497. And you went short.
Yeah, and she's got to take profit at 38.29.4.
That's way down here. But right now we're more concerned about, do we want to get out of this trade or not? Is this a swing trade or is this a scalping trade that you're looking at?
Well, I don't know. She said
It's
that
a swing. It's a, let's see. Let me take a look at a higher time frame here, see if this thing's even going to give it up at all here. Right now we're in the, came in the blue, it closed out. This was basically a long trade here, but the British.
Not scalping, not swing. So it must be just like a day trade.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see what we can do here. So we'll lock this in. And right now you're probably underwater a little bit here. Let's see what we got. And 28 pips. That's not overly. No, that's not great. But there's a way of getting around this here.
So I guess she took this
Yeah,
trade
right now
around.
the British, if you're short, that means you would want to be going to the strength of the dollar. The dollar is not strong right now. Although once the market opens, it may get a little bit stronger. It came up to the red lines, going to be testing the green. Danielle, this is Danielle, right?
Yes, it is.
And you're over in the UK, correct? Which means you can take a hedge on these, can't you? I believe you can hedge this if you want, rather than taking the stop out. Are we live or demo on this one?
She doesn't say. All she says is that she took the trade around 7:30 a.m. UK, which is about 2:30 a.m. our time. No, she's on demo. She's on demo.
Okay. Okay. 2:30. This might be a good practice for you, Daniela. 2:30 a.m. This is 15. That'd be 2:30 a.m. here. So let me mark that. 2:30 a.m. our time. Ish. So you got in right around that area.
Yeah, I can see that she anticipated it going down further.
Yeah, you did have a. I mean, you can see where your moving averages were in the right direction to go short. The problem you came into is that you were bouncing right off of this heavy blue line. Never got to close.
She said
Never got to close below that.
She's using Arrow for it.
Oh, she was using Arrow. Oh, well, okay. Well, with Arrow, you need a 40. If Arrow told you to go short, then you would need a 40 pip stop. Where was the Arrow target on this one? Where was the zone?
She put her take profit at 38,294. So, and I know he's 20 pips.
20 pips, yeah.
Yeah, take profit, right?
Yeah, 20 pips take profit, 40 pips stop.
Yeah.
And that'd be all right for that.
She's got her stop at 79.5. So she's taking a 30 pip stop.
Okay. Now you're getting pretty close to that. Let's see. Let's take a look at the higher time frame here. See what we got over here. So here's where this thing started on the down move. So you're pretty much up. I like this wick on the 1 hour chart. I like this wick right up here. A strong wick up, came back down. So this area up here, I would say if you can start getting a close, I say at this point I would hang on to the trade. If you got a 5-minute close above this, what's that here? Here's where I would be looking. Right now, you're getting a 1 hour close above the green line. That's part's not good. You got the 1 hour close here. If this thing retests the green line and starts heading on up to this red line, what I would do is I'd probably put a hedge in there. And meaning what that would be is basically you would take a buy order. Here's what I would do. This would be what I would probably. This would be a technique that I use on occasions. I'm not saying to do this, but what I'd be looking at, we have a 15-minute close above the green line. We already had the test of the blue line. It came over here, cleared above, tested, came on up. Now it came back and retested the blue line, couldn't close below it, but it did come and close above the green line, which tells me that this thing is really in a range between our green up here and our blue down here, coming up from the bottom. They have some strength coming up from the bottom. This was strength coming up, and you're basically going contra trend. The fact that you have this close above this green line and you're having a retest, I would be tempted to take a equal or larger position off this bounce and then that would stabilize your trade, your drawdown. And if it comes up to the red line, I would be looking to exit my long position. And if this red line can't hold, if we can't get that close above the red line, and then it may come back and retest the green line, and that would help you, and then do it again. And then, but I think right now you've got enough pressure. Now, once the U.S. market opens up, I think these two may flip, and you may be able to start working your way out of your short position. But with this little range right here, I would be looking taking it long here. You've got your three zones in the middle between here. You got your 7, 14, and 21 pips, and use this as a area to where you may get that bounce to maybe start getting your more profitable in your short. But I would hedge it at this point with the strength that we have here. I would be looking at hedging with the bounce off this green line, and then with the 2 points, with the 2 pips, with the two, with our 2-minute lines. I said we had the close above. We're starting to get the bounce off of here, and we have see, that's just the price. These are our 2-minute lines. These are our 2-minute. There's a 2-minute green. Here's our 2-minute red. Uh, 2-minute red up there. Go back to our 5-minute chart, and you can see the lines here. Danielle, are you one of the ones that have this RCS tool? Did you get that? I know some people were able to get it earlier on. Yeah, but right here, I'd be looking at possibly the British pound still strong. I'd wait for this thing to spread a little bit more before I did that. And then I would put a hedge in and see if it comes on up and test these 3 targets up here.
She does not have the RCS.
It's not okay. There was a time we were letting some people have it. Unfortunately, I don't know that we're able to do that anymore right at the moment here, but right now I'm looking at the it is having a nice little pullback here. It is having to retest this. I would be looking at maybe grabbing some profit. If it bounces off, I would be taking some quick profits off of these. Just that would help to put some money in the bank as it's going against you. And then be looking at this to beat. So right now we came within our spread of the green line. Take a long, get out here, just a little bit up in here, wait for maybe another little pullback, get back in, and just play this little region right in here. But I would still hang on to, I would keep my stop above this red line, and then see if you can maybe get some hedged positions profitable. If you got in, this will give you like 7 pips. And I wouldn't take it right now because you're already now up to your first target area. Actually, this was, while we were looking at this, we probably should have taken this trade here to the long side. We have a nice 3-point spread here. Right now it's coming back up. Wait for a now we can, with this, we can now take another order. Since we missed this one, oftentimes we'll still get you another chance to get in. So I would be looking at maybe putting a buy order in here with a target here. Target zone. Where'd my target go? There's target 1, target 2. And then here would be target 3. And I decided would give a little bit of room for the spread on some of these. Okay. Anyway, that's the way I'd be looking at that one. This thing's not ready to turn around yet. You still have too much strength of your British pound, still a little bit too strong. Wait for the pullback, maybe try and get in here, and then target, and then target. Let's see how our other trades are doing here, if we're getting into anything here. Yeah, this one's almost part of the British pound. Again, the British pound is still strong. And we're coming up on our target right here. So we got into this trade. We'll see how this thing goes. Right now, the British pound is still strong with the Aussie. I'm pretty optimistic I'll hit that target 1. Once it hits that target, where the 4 is, this will be the target. Then we can come back and where's my 2-minute charts here? There's our labels. My 2-minute red. And the 2-minute green is down below here somewhere. At 89.18. That's pretty much right where we got in. Here's the next target zone. And then you've got one more up above it, which is the dotted line. Okay, so right now we're in this trade and we're doing good on that one so far. And we were looking at another one here. What was that one? Euro British. Still not in this one yet. Or are we? Nope, not yet. Hasn't triggered. So we're not in that one. And we have we didn't set an order for the British US. We can do that. We'll set an order for this one. It is starting to lose a little bit of steam as it's getting up closer to this red line up here. It's starting to lose, because remember you have a green line right up in here. If it starts breaking through this thing could go up a lot higher for a while. Eva, do you have anything on your cryptos or your indexes looking at?
Well, right now I actually have a UK 100 set. And I set another for the NASDAQ.
Do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
Stop sharing.
Where am I? Okay, so first I'll do the UK 100. I set this one just a little while ago. All the MMAs are in the proper order for me. So it's come down, it's done the pullback. For those of you that haven't been in the room before, when I've showed how I do the indices, I basically take, in this case, because all the indicators are pointing downwards, to me it's a momentum down. So I draw a fib line from the highest point from the cluster of candles that, the nearest cluster of candles that closed above this aqua line, which is the 34, and I take it to the lowest point of the cluster of candles that closed below, and then I wait for the pullback. So now in this case, it's pulled back to almost the 50, and I'm waiting for it to carry on, and I set my sell stop. I always use pending orders. I don't ever use a market order. So I set it right below the zero, right before the lowest point of this fib line. So I basically, I'm wanting it to have the momentum to go through. And generally speaking, with when you're trading the indices, unlike currencies, if they're going to go through this line, generally speaking, they will carry on going in that direction. I mean, not always. Nothing is 100%, just so you guys are aware. So in the case of the UK, I always put my take profit 20 pips away, which is a $2 move from the entry point. I tend to notice that it generally, because I like a quick in and a quick out, preferably within one candle. I'm on the 5-minute chart. I find that if I put it further away, then I have to sit there and deal with it, possibly retracing a little bit again and coming back down. And I'd rather just tie the money bag off and move on. So I put it just a $2 movement away. So I set that one. You can see the German, because the indicators, I did draw my fib, but the indicators have not straightened out. So I had one set from earlier, and I've taken off that trade. Until this straightens out, I will not get into it, because when these are in the order they need to be in, that's a strong indication that it's going to carry on the way that you're taking your trade. Right now, it's anybody's guess what it's going to do. So I don't even get in it. The same with this guy, the Euro Stoxx 50. It's starting to go the way it should with the 5, the 13, the 34, the 62, but it's still not exactly where I want it to be. So I have not set a trade for this either. I'd rather wait for it to line up for me. So now the NASDAQ, I have set it. And generally, I don't like to trade the US indices before market opens, but it's early enough before the market opens that I could possibly get into this trade and get out of it long before it starts that wacky whipsawing that it sometimes does when the market first opens. So in keeping the same way, actually this was an error. This should have been up here now that I'm looking at it, but that's okay. It doesn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of things, except that, hold on, I'm sorry. This one was done wrong. Okay, well, I must have had it like that and then moved it. But anyway, so this is there, and this is the lowest point is still the lowest point, so it really doesn't matter. And it retraced to the 61.8, 62, and now I'm just waiting for it to come back through. Now for the NASDAQ, I'll generally go for between a $5 to $7.50 move. So that's like 50 to 75 pips, if you prefer to hear it in pippage as opposed to dollars. And so now I'm just waiting for it to go through. And again, this little wick here, I didn't take it because it just kind of wicked down. I mean, I could, it really doesn't make a big difference. I would just move this down just a little bit, just to be in keeping with things. And that's it. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to do its thing at this point. Like, it's working its way down, but this is shaping up beautifully. You see how that's fanned out? I love it when it does that, because there's nothing telling me that this is going to go all crooked on me until it gets through to my take profit. It still can. I mean, it's not 100%, but with the indices, like as I said before, once it generally gets through this lowest point and keep it, will keep going until it gets to my take profit, because my take profits tend to be a little bit tighter and closer. So that's where we stand with this one. I haven't even looked at the other ones. Well, you see the S&P is doing the same thing. It's all in beautiful formation of coming down. So actually, because this is a blank chart, I can show you. So it's in downward momentum. The moving averages tell me so. So my fib will start above here, because this is the first cluster from current price, that cluster of candles that has closed above the 34, which is the aqua line. So I will start it from there, and you're always moving to the right when you're drawing your fib down. So that's the lowest point to my right. So this, in the meantime, has actually pulled back past the 23.6. You can see that there. So this, I could very easily set another trade. Let me just see, it's at a very small 0.01. So I'm just going to put my sell stop in. And again, it's just slightly below. And for the S&P, lately I've been only using a 3.5 move. So because I find that they change over time. The indexes, the way that they move will change over time. So you just need to keep your finger on the pulse of what it's doing. So I'm just going to flip this to, what is it, 47.90, I guess. 44. Oh, sorry, no. Yeah, 47.90 is my $3.50. That looks a little far away. I don't really like it that far away. Did I move it too far? No, I didn't. But you know what? Nothing says I can't move it up to here if I want it to. I like it to be within the same, between the 0 and the 1.23 on the fib. When it starts getting past that, to me, it's too far of a move. I find the closer I keep my take profit, the more often I'm hitting my target. So that I prefer to do that, hit the target, wait for another setup, move to another index, and just look at things that way. So, and that's what I do. And I just kind of move along. The same with actually this guy has become quickly my favorite, the Dow Jones. And again, we can just do a quick one here. See this, actually it closed above right here. You can hardly see it, but this green candle closed above there. So that's where my fib line starts. So down we go. And you can see these, and this is a really strong move down. So let's just throw something on there quickly. So there is that. And with my Dow Jones, where are you?
Say, Eva, can I interrupt real quick?
Sure.
For anybody who's looking at a potential sell on the Euro British, I would cancel that order. The Euro is starting to get stronger, so it looks like you don't want to sell on that. I would cancel that. And anybody that was looking at doing a buy, this is for you, Daniela. Looks like the US dollar is getting stronger now on this little pullback we're looking at right now. So I would not take that hedge position I told you about at this point, because the dollar is starting to show some strength again. So I would, and we also took profit on the Aussie, the British Aussie. That profit target already hit. So I'm out of that trade. So again, I would just say the Euro British short position, I would cancel that one. And the British USD, if you're looking at going long, I would maybe hold off on that just a little bit before you do that. It is having a nice little pullback, but it's looking like it's maybe bouncing, but I would still hold off a little bit, because it looks like the dollar is starting to gain some strength. Okay, all right, Eva, back to you.
Back to you. Okay, so I've just set this. Generally, I will put a $10 move or a 100 pip profit, take profit line on it. But in this case, I'm kind of looking at this little wick here. I mean, it's subject to logic sometimes where you're going to put the take profit. The entry point is non-negotiable. The main rule of thumb for me anyways is don't put the take profit so far away that you have to wait for several candle closes because this is scalping after all. So my method is for scalping. So sometimes it'll turn into a day trade, which I really don't like, and it gives me major angst and headaches. So that's why I put my take profit very close, because chances are, especially if you look at the value of this US 30 index, it's over $35,000. For it to move like $10 and less will take it absolutely no time to do that. And this is just a tiny little position. I only took a 0.01, and it's going to move this little tiny bit. And I think it's going to give me like just under 750. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but just remember your position size determines how much, how it's going to work out for you monetarily, but you have to do it according to your balance, really. So that's not bad. So some of my trades have been known to trigger and take profit within 10 seconds. So like $7 every 10 seconds, not a bad gig, really. So don't look at it that way. What you have to look at is how often you can be profitable with your trade. So it's not the dollars and cents I have. I think my UK 100 is, I'm going to get like $3 off of it, but that's not the point. The point being is set your trades so that they work out for you. And then the rest just kind of follows along behind it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then you've got you've got Bitcoin with this big wick. You see, when it's a big wick like this, I'm not a real fan. Not to mention, this is all pretzeled up. That's what I call it when the moving averages are all mixed up together. There's no definitive which way is it going to go. And if you have to guess, then that's gambling, as far as I'm concerned. So I won't touch it. This too, not yet. It's working its way downward, but it doesn't mean that it's going to keep going that way. So I will not get into a trade until it's definitive. And that's just my conservative way of trading. Other more aggressive traders will get into it just looking, like on this one here on the XRP, they'll get into it just by simply looking, oh, it's in a downward momentum. And you know what, they could work out for you, but that doesn't follow my rules. So I won't do that. Litecoin, you can look at it. This is just, it's not, the value of this isn't a high value crypto, but sometimes the spread, look at the spread, is almost the size of this entire candle. So that's something you need to watch out for as well, because if the spreads are big this way, and I find too with these brokers that as you get closer to your take profit, sometimes they will widen the spread so that you can't seem to hit it. And Al and I have watched that actually happen. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing to us? So you just have to be careful about stuff like that.
Yeah, Eva, Danielle has some questions for you in the question answer. I'll just let you read them.
Okay. Sunita, how hard is this to learn? I'm not sure if you're talking about, are you talking about this one, Sunita? What I'm doing, it's very easy, actually. It's just practice of keep on repeating the same thing over and over again. There's really nothing subjective here except where you want to put your take profit, pretty much. Daniela, I did not, okay, that's for you. She did not hedge yet. On my US 30, could I place the Fibble on the bigger move? Not according to my strategy. You could, but so let's have a look at that, the US 30 on the 5 minute. So you're looking to place it up here, Daniela, or even higher up here? Which one are you looking at?
On the
bigger one, but which bigger one? Because right now I'm starting here.
Going
So
up.
This one or this one?
She said on the one going up, Eva.
Like from here to here?
Yeah, that was the bigger move going up.
No, because the momentum is down. That I would do that if the momentum was up. All the indicators are showing me that momentum is going down. So my whole strategy is based on which way the momentum is working. I don't deal like in higher time frames. because again, with scalp trading, you're taking your money where the price is giving you the right setup. And for me, the proper setup is if these indicators are in the proper order, which this is 5, 13, 34, 62, and 200. So they're in the correct order to show that prices got downward pressure, at least for the next few minutes. These are not high time frames that I'm dealing in. So no, I would not take it higher because it negates my strategy altogether. So it's always the most current move, like to the move current to closest to the current price. So right now, the move from here to here is the move that's making these moving averages look the way that they do. So if I go from here to here, that skews my results, or from here to here, that's what I would do if I was doing a buy. Again, because I'm looking at the retracement and everything as well. Does that make sense to you, Daniela?
One thing is you need to be very careful about is not to mix and match strategies, because a lot of times, as they say, too many cooks spoil the stew. And if you try to use one strategy and parts of another strategy, sometimes it works, but you're better off in just using one strategy in one case. And there's nothing wrong with using like the strategy that I've been teaching with the fib lines. If you could work it for Eva, she just found that this works best for her. That doesn't mean you can't apply one or the other, but I would not try to mix the two.
No,
do one or the other.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I know of a couple of traders that have done that, and then they can't figure out why it's not working for them, and why do they keep losing? Because you can't mix strategies, especially if it's from two separate traders, and expect it to work out the way that you want it to. And I understand, because I used to be the same way. So I understand the need to try to do that. Well, if I do this and if I do that, and then I add this on top, it's got to be even better. Well, sometimes it's not, because it's a completely different thing you're looking at altogether. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And, you know, not to say that once you do get into a strategy, that you learn a strategy, you're going to tweak it to your own liking. Like there's certain things, I mean, I didn't just come up with this out of nowhere. You know, like I've been practicing and I've been doing this, and, you know, I've learned a lot of stuff from Al, and I've seen some other traders doing things, and I kind of apply. And then all of a sudden you realize that, oh, you know what, this really works. If I use the Fibbo and I do this and that, and I do the other thing, then this might really work. So you're going to tweak your own strategy, but you need to learn one to start off with, or possibly two, but keep them separate. And you know what they say, jack of all trades, master of none. So you won't master anything if you keep jumping around and trying different things.
Christine, do you want to answer Sunita's question about how hard the Hawkeye strategy is to learn?
I'm doing that right now. I'm typing her, unless you wanted me to verbally.
Yeah, why don't you just verbalize it?
Oh, okay. So, Sunita, it depends on different variables. I mean, it depends on, like Eva was just saying, as far as if you're sticking to one strategy, as well as how much time and consistency you can do it. Because it may take you a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and it may take somebody else a year or two, depending on how much you can do it. But coming in these rooms all the time will certainly solidify what you're doing, and it will solidify Hawkeye's strategy.
Yeah, the strategy is basically very specific, and there's not a lot of subjectivity to the strategy, but you have to, I would say you need to be in the room enough to understand some of the little variances that are involved with it. And like I said, you'll develop your own parameters of the strategy, but the strategy itself is really quite simple. I mean, we pretty much, in fact, need to find out where Brian put it. We did get our trade plan approved by Mariska. So as soon as we can find out where Brian put it, then we'll get you guys so you can have the trade plan. It's about 20-minute. I think it's about 20-minute video of a short trade. It explains exactly candle by candle what the thought process was, and if you can just understand that basic concept, you'll be 90% of the way to understanding the strategy. So it's not a hard strategy to learn, but it does take some discipline. The biggest part is that BTE indicator between your ears. That's the emotions of the trade, to have enough. If you have confidence in the strategy, if you have confidence in your trade plan, it takes away a lot of the emotions of a trade, because you know exactly what you're looking for. You know exactly what your parameters are. The strategy itself is not hard to learn. So, actually, somebody mentioned something about the British US. Is it taking off again? I was distracted here. It's still.
Yeah, Eden's mentioned it.
Yeah, it looks like the British US is still. Let me share my screen again if I can remember how to do it.
Stop sharing.
There we go. Share screen. British US. Here we go. Remember, I was saying with the we were talking with Danielle about the British US trade, and I was saying that when we had this nice big move. I'm looking at my 5-minute chart here. Let me get that up here. Turn this one off. Remember, we said we had the strong move up here on the 5-minute, closed above the green, waiting for the pullback. But part of the trade plan parameters are when it pulls back to this area over here, you can take the trade if you have a 3-point spread on your 5-minute chart with our tool here. Well, when it came back to the green line, we actually had a little bit of a flip. The green, it did have on this little green candle right here, you can see where everything was, the British pound did have a little bit of a favor over the US dollar on this pullback, but I didn't have the 3-point spread. And right now you can see where they're both kind of showing weakness. And so and we don't have that 3-point spread. Right now there's a 4 on the British, a 3 on the US as it's bouncing off of this. Now, if we go to a 1-minute chart and we start seeing where the 1 minute is starting to take off again, then maybe you can jump in saying, okay, now we have the reversal here. And that still may be the case, but I would be real careful about taking this trade, because we are starting to see especially as we get closer to the US market open, you're going to start seeing a little bit more strength to the US dollar, more than likely. Right now, the British pound, we're still in the London session, and the British pound is still taking favor over the dollar. But it's still, but be careful about what your targets are going to be. Right now, it's still showing favor. We have a 2-point spread on the 15, 1-point spread on it. So it's basically what I'm seeing right now is range bound. It's kind of stuck between the 7-pip range right in here. I'd like to see a little bit more of a spread on these indicators to be able to before taking long. It's still favoring the upside, but it doesn't have the momentum that it had earlier. So you have to be a little bit careful. The fact that we had this pullback and we did not get a 5-minute close on this pullback, that's a good sign that it still could go on up. Just be very careful with it. We got the 3-point spread now on the slope. It's within, but again, it's still ranging within the 7-pip spread, the target. If I go to the 1-minute chart, I'm looking at, there's actually a little bit of a wedge going on here. We had the strong move up over here. We have a trend line from here. Let's see if I can put this trend line up. So, where my tool go? There it is. It's starting to develop a trend with a high, a lower high right here. That's the hit, and then here's our trend line. Here's our anchor. Here's our hit. If we can get a strong close above the green line with a pullback, then I'd be more comfortable to take it to the next 7 pip level. But right now it's developing a little bit of a trend, a little bit of a wedge. We're having a high, we have a low, we have a, see, and I don't like this part here for a long. Here's our anchor, here's our hit. It's actually breaking out of the bottom right in this little area. I still like to see it. At this point now, I'd be keeping my eye on a 5-minute candle close below this green line. So that if we were to be, come on, get on this way. So if we have a strong move down here, a close below the green line, retest of the green line, after it's already closed below the wedge, then we could be looking at target 1, target 2, and target 2, and then target 3, like that type of thing. So we could possibly be getting a reversal, and that would actually make that trade that Daniela is in, probably get her out of it with some profit on it. But you have to be real careful with this area right in here. We got a downward, we have a high, a low, strong move up. This is your playground. Lower high, higher low. Right now we still have a low, is retesting this and the green line. If we get the break above, then this is actually, even though we had the break of this is the head, this could be the head fake right in here. But right now it's making lower highs and higher lows into this area. Once it breaks out, if we get the close above this green line, retest, and then we can go on up again. Or if it breaks out of the bottom, retest and go down. So right now you're in a rather iffy situation here with this one. I would be looking at, sorry, I'm looking at 2 scenarios. One, we have our wedge. We have looking at breakout from the bottom, retest the wedge, retest the green line, a close below on a 5-minute, retest and go lower. Or you have the option, the other scenario where it's going to come on up, break through the top of the wedge, come back, retest the green line, and then target 1, target 2. These are our 2 scenarios that we're looking at. And right now, we don't know which one it's going to do. So you just couldn't keep your powder dry and just wait and see. Okay. Right now, it's kind of stuck in the 7 pip range right in here. It's just sort of stuck right now. And my suspicion is it's waiting to see how the U.S. market opens up. And this is where you can really get whipsawed. It breaks out. And you go, oh no, it's not. It breaks out. Oh no, it's not. This is where you get these head fakes, and all you do is get beat up. You get the breakout, doesn't do anything. Get the breakout, doesn't do anything. And that's why this tool is so valuable, because it shows you how strong it is. And right now, they're fighting for last place. You have a 3 and a 1. That's not enough for spread to take any trade on this thing right now. And you can see, and that's what it's showing here. Okay. That's all part of the strategy. And I was saying about, these are some of those little idiosyncrasies that you'll learn as you're in this trade room. These are those little nuggets of information that will help you understand the strategy a little bit better. It's still the same strategy. Break out the bottom, close, retest it, take off. Break out the top, close, come back, retest it, and take off. But this is where this tool is so valuable, to let you know where the momentum is, where the strength is, of which side to. You need to know where the direction of the trade's going to go. And that's one of the hardest things, and that's one of the key points of learning technical analysis, is learning where the direction is. This is a really good example of this whole scenario right now. So if you're long, you could win. If you're short, you could win. But I would not be taking any new positions at this point. Okay. Let's see, what other one were we looking at here earlier? I said we did have I think it was the Euro British that we had, where we did hit a target on it. Oh, it's right up here on this one, the Euro British Aussie. Let's see, any other questions, comments that we have? Did I lose everybody?
No, we're good here. No question.
All right, just wondering if I lost anybody with the audio here. Let's take a look at let's take a look at our heat map here and see what we have. If we have anything that's, there we go. So right now we can see that as we're approaching the 9 o'clock hour, you see that the Swiss franc is the strongest of all four in all four quadrants. The Canadian dollar is in the bottom two, bottom two, bottom two. Let's take a look at the Swiss CAD trade, looking to the strength of the Swiss. So let's go over to the charts and see what we can find here. Swiss CAD, or CAD Swiss right here. And we're on the, let's get on the 15-minute chart and we'll draw our lines. And 15, let me just take everything off and we'll start off from a fresh start here. We're on a 15-minute fibs, 15-minute double check to make sure we're in the right area. We're sitting right in between a blue and a red fib line. There's my 15-minute blue. Here's my 15-minute red down here. Go to my 5-minute chart, check out where the load zones are there. And we're going to divide these blue, and here you can see where it's divided by 3. It basically breaks it down into thirds. Here's my green, 5-minute green. And here's my 5-minute red at 72.74. And now we can look and see, do we have any close on the 5-minute chart? Here's where this candle came out, did not close. This one came out, did not close. This one closed above, closed above. This red candle right here closed below and so this is where we can be taken short. We have the Swiss is the lighter colored one. Here's the CAD on the bottom. So when this one came down, came back, retested it, we were able to take it short. So we could be, now we're not in it right now because we just saw this. So now we're gonna see how we're gonna play this one. Find our 2-minute lines. So here's going to be our first target down here at these 7 pips. So 2-minute. And the red. There should be a 2-minute green right here. Now you have a choice with with this, the 2-minute green. You can just stay on the 1-minute chart, and we already know that we've already determined that we had the 5-minute candle close below. We have a 2.3 spread, so I know that I can take this thing short. Now we do have right now this thing's flipping back and forth on the 1-minute chart. Is flipping back and forth between the Canadian dollar being strong and the Swiss being strong. I would prefer to be looking over on my 5-minute chart at this point, because I want to be able to see what my strength is here. The Swiss is strong by a 6-1 spread. So when this thing comes on up to this area right now, I can take this thing short. So I'm going to set a sell order. Going to do 7 pip stop, 15 pip target, 2% of my risk. There's my lot size. And I'm going to take now it's just coming up and still have the spread. It's hitting the line. At this point, I'm just going to do a market order, just so because I want to be able to get in this thing. So I'm in the trade. Now you can see where the spread, a 2-point spread, You see where I got filled. The price was up here at the red line, but my fill was 2 pips below it because of the spread. That's typical. So now I can now reset my target. So go to my 5-minute chart, expand it out. I don't need this anymore. You can see that my stop is way up here out of the way. And a nice move down. We got the close. Again, I'm on the 5-minute chart now. Got the close, and right now we have a little area here that it would have to get through before it would ever get to my stop. And I like this little doji right in here. I like this little thing, this little wick over wick, small little candle here. I don't have my Sherlock tool up on this computer right now, but it would probably have a Sherlock supply zone right about in there. So it would have to get through this area before it ever came up to my stop. My stop is way out of harm's way. And we have the strength of these, Swiss franc is strong by nice little 6 point spread on that. I was willing to take that just with the market order. And, my first target is going to be right down here at this 2-minute line. That's my first target. So here's the scenario. We have a strong move down. We had the close. Came back and retested the green line, or this case, the red line, I guess it was. Here's our target 1, target 2, target 3. Every time it hits the red line, we can pull back. We can take our profit here. We can re-enter up here. Get enter here. We can take our profit back here again. If it breaks through here, and we could come back for another pullback to here to re-enter target. If it hits this target, we can catch it again. And if it breaks through, and by the time it gets down this 21 pip range, this is 7 pips, 7 pips, 7 pips, each one of these sections, you just got in and out of this trade potentially 3 times with a large lot size. And if each time you get to 1%, that would be a 3% move for just this one trade. If you're using a 15 pip stop, you could actually tighten your stop up if you want. I would still keep it out of harm's way. But if you did a 1-to-1, that would be with 2% lot size. That would be 6% just in that one trade for the day. But right now, we got in, we're in the trade. So let's get through this little area up here. So I mean, again, if the price gets up here where the 2 is, I may be thinking of exiting this trade. But right now, we have a nice little barrier right here. We have the strength to the downside. We're in the trade. Where the 3 is would be our target. We take our profit. We pulls back. If we still have the spread, take it again. We use the same target. Maybe even go for the second one. And this point, you could maybe just let it run and see if it comes all the way down to. You already take profit here, re-enter, and then just let it go for maybe the bigger move for this area down below. And how are we doing our time? We have about 5 more minutes. Any other last minute questions before we go?
Doesn't seem to be any right now.
Did you get into any trades here, Eva?
No, not yet. It's moving slow, like it's there. But you know what? That's the beauty of the pending order, is that one of them wicked down below the 0, but it actually didn't trigger my trade because I was far enough below it. So that just speaks to that part of it. But no, it looks like it wants to come down. It kind of retraced. They're all following each other. So they're all doing kind of the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of times the indexes really don't do much until after the U.S. market opens up, or right when the British market opens up.
I'm surprised that the UK 100 isn't doing anything. It's been really slow. The European markets have been very slow in the last few days too. And
well, you know, one thing to remember, it's a Monday, And right now, anything that's tied to the U.S. dollar, there's a lot of uncertainty with the U.S. dollar, with just the fact of just the world events in general are going to cause the dollar to be all over the place right now. So we're just having to, but that's one reason why we kind of take what we do. We get in, we get out of the trade. We don't hang on to these trades. I don't like getting into these trades and hanging on to them for very long, because there's just too much uncertainty to do much more of that. So
Yeah. Yeah. You just in and out. The quicker the better, I find.
yeah.
And I'd
It's
rather
either-
do that a few more times a day than to sit in one, just, to do the big run on the pips and stuff like that, just to have it turn around before it hits your take profit, and all that time and effort wasted.
Yeah. Nothing I hate more than being up 7 pips where I could have gotten out, only to have it come back and stop me out. That just drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that, I'm just watching these now. So if they move around like this for too much longer, where they're not doing a whole lot of anything, I'll just take these pending orders off, because if I leave my computer, I don't want them sitting here and activating while I'm not around, because I don't actually set my stop losses. So I know where I want them to be, but I don't actually manually put them on, because if the brokers decide they want to go around manipulating the markets, that they can take a bunch of stop losses that are close by. I don't want to be one of them. So,
Yeah. And that's one reason why, even like I said, when we use a 15 pip stop, like I said, I rarely get to take a full 15 pip stop. Usually by the time, if it starts to not do what I expect it to do, then I'm usually out of this trade with maybe just a 5 pip stop loss. And but I just let the price tell me. So for instance, like if this thing comes down, we got the 5-minute close, but if it turns around, these things flip around, and I get a 5-minute close above this red line, I would be out of the position and maybe reverse it.
yeah.
But right now, everything's still just having to be patient. Everything's still looking good. The Swiss is still strong to the Canadian dollar, still showing weakness, and I've only got a 7 pip stop. All I got to do is, now the spreads, you can see the spreads have increased a little bit around this area. So when you start getting closer to your target, watch those spreads. And if they start playing with the spreads, just get out of your trade, because you don't know, because it could be just keeping you from taking your profits.
Yeah.
And with that, we're just right about at 9 o'clock and starting to get noisier around this area here. So I'm going to sign off. Any last minute questions, comments before we go?
I'm fine here.
Oh, thank you from Daniela.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Well, thank you for pointing that. That was a good explanation. And that's the thing, is if you guys take trades and you think, and you want us to help you analyze them, because you get positive feedback, and you also get to say, okay, here's what I was looking at, but maybe you missed something, or maybe you said, what you did was exactly right, and it just didn't work out for you, and that's okay too. What's important is that you have a plan, you trade the plan. It's not going to work out 100% of the time. The question is, it should work out most of the time for you, and as ours usually does. I mean, trust me, we don't win all the trades either. And some days the markets just don't give it up. And some days the markets are just so uncertain that you just better off and say, a lot of times if I get stopped out twice in one day, I just quit trading for that, because the markets just aren't behaving the way I expect them to. So just keep that in mind. No, just because you lose doesn't mean you did something wrong, or because you win doesn't mean you did something right either. So help us analyze your trades for you. We'll talk them through, because it's a nice learning. This U.S. This British U.S. that we had today earlier. This was a really nice little demonstration, a nice little way of trying to figure out what's going on with that. And right now you can see where see how it stayed within the 7 pip range. Let me just move this out here just real quick before we go. You can see how it's been still trading inside the 7 pip range. It's still not going anywhere, and it probably won't do much until after the market opens, or probably after 9 o'clock, maybe 9:15. You may see a little bit more of a move, but it's going to, if it does, it's maybe, with especially being a U.S. pair, it's going to start taking position in preparation for the U.S. market open. So just be aware of that. And with that, I'm going to sign off and take the rest of the day off here. And Eva, Christine, thanks again for your help. Thanks
No
again, everybody,
problem.
for coming in. We appreciate and love every one of you. Take
Yeah.
care, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, have a great day, everybody. Al, go enjoy the family and the kids and the beach and the whatever it is you're going to be doing. I'm envious.
Whatever it is we're going to be doing.
And see you guys all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. God bless.